Hello and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, then a little introduction. This is a place to share stories, adventures, and everything I wish I had known before embarking on them. My name is Trina, and you're watching From Fiji to Here. It's the final countdown. You've made it this far, and as amazing as it all is, there's some feelings of trying times as well. Let's start with some of the highlights. If you haven't already had a baby shower and are planning on having one, I would aim to do this early on in your third trimester. You never know what can happen as babies have a mind of their own, and as early as 36 weeks, baby could come at any time. You're also going to want to decide whether you plan on or not sharing baby's name before they're born. There is no right or wrong answer here. Again, as we say, everyone's different. But it is something that you want to make sure you and your partner are on the same page, especially if there's strong feelings towards one way or another. We personally didn't and actually haven't shared the names that we considered for Elisa. We knew we wanted to wait to see her to be certain, but again, to each their own. If you were worried about the boxes and bags that have been piling up from your baby shopping or your baby shower, have no fear. Most women in this trimester are met with a lovely combination of hormones that lead to what's called nesting. This is a sudden desire to clean and prepare for baby's arrival. If you haven't felt this way, don't worry. Not everyone does, but it certainly does help to have everything unpacked before baby comes. You have enough to worry about once you've brought baby home from the hospital to be wondering where are the diapers or what box is the breast pump in. As you're nesting, which again is hopefully before the 36-week mark, it'd also be beneficial to mark that date somewhere, because ideally you won't have to go to the hospital to deliver baby before 36 weeks. But as mentioned, after that, baby is considered full term. So ensure that you have your hospital bags packed with everything but those last minute essentials and electronics. Also have your car seat installed if you have your own vehicle. And if you're like us and don't have your own car, make sure you've read the manual and know how to install your car seat in whatever vehicle will be picking you up from the hospital. Also, adding to that, make sure not just you, make sure your partner or whoever is attending the hospital with you knows how to install it. Because if you've had a C-section and you're not supposed to lift anything heavier than your baby, it shouldn't be you installing a car seat outside of the hospital. Speaking of hospitals and where you plan to deliver, some hospitals do offer a quick little tour of the facilities. At least they did pre-COVID. I feel like some are starting to bring that back. It would be worth giving them a call to see what's offered to help make the big day flow as easy as possible. You don't want your significant other lost trying to find the labor and delivery department while they're parking the car. Okay, so now that the fun stuff is out of the way, let's dive into what you may not know about the third trimester. As babe begins to grow exponentially, putting on almost a pound a week, you may start to feel those pounds adding up. Things like pelvic pain, back pain, swollen feet, and the dreaded inability to sleep. You often hear that you should rest now because you'll get less rest when the baby comes. And for some that may be true, but for others, it's the opposite. Some find sleeping with a newborn more restful than the third trimester uncomfortability and constant tossing and turning and needing to pee. I guess I'm telling you this in hopes that if you aren't sleeping well now, it may get better, although in shorter increments when baby comes. What rhymes with sleep? Sweep! And before that, swab. Most practices nowadays will test in the third trimester for strep B. This is a swab that is done, well, down there. You can research if you want the specifics. The reasoning behind this is to avoid giving antibiotics unnecessarily if you aren't positive for strep B, which in the past it was standard practice to just give them to everyone. Now, if you do test positive for strep B, you have options. Most women are asymptomatic, egoing carrying the strep B bacteria, so speak with your healthcare practitioner about what your options may be. As you approach your due date, you may also be given the option to have a membrane sweep done. Again, there's conflicting information and anecdotes on whether this actually does help induce labor. You can also choose to decline it as well if that's your choice once you do a little more research on it. Finally, a random note here, but if you will be taking maternity leave, this is a good time to take a look at the HR paperwork, find out if you'll have payments to make, like insurance, while you're on leave, how and when you need to add baby to that insurance policy. Most companies require this to be done within 30 days following the birth. Along with this paperwork, it's worth noting that if you're going on maternity leave before your due date, that you will have to notify your work and EI when your baby is actually born so they can update that date. Also, one last thing, if you are planning on having maternity pictures done, I know we all want that big, beautiful belly picture. Do it before the 36-week mark. We've talked a lot about that 36-week mark, and it would be unfortunate for you to have to cancel your belly shot photos because baby is already here. That covers it for this video. It was a short but sweet one. Next time, we're gonna dive into our second to last video, labor and delivery. If you have any questions or things you want me to mention in that video, leave them down below, as well as any other videos you'd be interested in seeing. Thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, life is what happens between the plans that we make. Bye, guys.